Hello again. Welcome back. As usual, this is Becca going by Nightcat or Nightcat's Meow when online. And here I am with another week bringing you Linden scripting language with a side of meow. I probably really ought to not talk like that. Either way, your Coder Kitty is back. Sorry again for last week. Everything was just a wreck. But to start us off for this week, we have a couple of corrections. The last video I actually gave y'all, I made a few little things that I didn't show y'all correctly, so we're here to correct those. Thanks to Cassandra, who is kind enough to come out here and help me experiment using more than one key, as well as my own poking around from her telling me what was wrong. I figured out where I had messed up on the mailer. For any of y'all that have just been having a real problem with refusing to send messages or send messages to anybody other than yourselves, here are the two things I screwed up. Screw up number one was in the detection of whether or not a given key was in the active list. If you remember from a couple weeks ago, the active list created here, its purpose was so that once a individual was sent a message down here, their key was added to the active list, saying that their avatar was active, and it would be removed from that list later when they were offline. This way, it would not just spam the same person over and over and over, because that would get really annoying. So, what you do is you have to use a list find list in order to find that. And I made two mistakes in that. The first one is that when the keys are entered up here, they're entered as a string. Taken as a key and taken as a string, they are actually treated differently by the coding system. So I had to cast who as a string inside this in order for it to read correctly. The other thing, as I said, if it was greater than -1, that was dumb on my part. That was just flat out a stupid mistake on my part, because what that would mean is that if it was found in there, then run this, because it would be greater than -1. -1 is what you get if it's at no point. It's not even at point 0 where Second Life starts reading the list. So that's why it was kicking over to key was found in active list. So changing that to equals to, it means only if that is equal to that. That means that if it shows up as -1, then it will actually run this code, send the message, record that, no problem. Those are the two mistakes I made there. The other thing is down here in the one I had for you all in the last video. I had not taken out the get owner because I was just on the fly doing this myself. That worked for me. The problem is that won't work for your list of keys. So you had to change that to who, which gets established up here, where it goes through and checks through the entire list of keys you have up here. Those are the mistakes from the last video. I apologize, especially the one where I wrote the greater than on the check of the active list. I don't know if my mic picked that up, but that was my cat coming to visit. Means I'm going to owe y'all another cute cat picture. Because she's just the cutest little thing. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. So now that I've eliminated any doubt the internet ever had that I can be terminally girly when my cat shows up and gets all nuzzly, back to the matters at hand. So what I had promised this time is I would go over and actually talk about how to allow a person to subscribe or unsubscribe themselves from your list automatically. Now, we want to make this something that's going to be easy for you to work with, for you, the sim owner, to deal with. So here's what we're gonna do. The first thing is we're gonna add two little buttons. buttons. Now, I've still had, not as nearly as bad as last week, but I've still had a lot that I've had to deal with, so I've not actually taken the time to make custom textures for these. So we're just going to have to mentally edit in the subscribe and unsubscribe, or actually I can put some text floating on them. We're going to link those to there. And as always, when we're going through and working with something like that, we're going to want to know what their link number is. But we're also going to want to add some text on them. Good a time as any to go over that. With the set text command. Come on. There we go. The text, subscribe, color. This is just like any other vector color we use in SL all the time. So that's in RGB. So 1, 0, 1. I have a thing for purple if y'all hadn't figured that out. And all right, that one is number 2. All right, so I have buttons for subscribe and unsubscribe. And you also now know how the code for creating floaty text works. The thing is, if you want to get rid of floaty text, you actually have to go through and create an entirely new script to get rid of it. So there we go. This will automatically just create a thing with no actual text between the quotation marks. And that got rid of the text. And as you saw, I just copied in the unclick, brings it back. There's not really any other way to get in there and deal with floaty text except by that. So, what we're going to do is add a touch start. First part is to determine where it was touched. So if for some reason I'm blanking on the specific code for that, But that is why we have the great and powerful wiki. Detected link number. Thank you. So, detected link number. 0 because we want the first registered touch. 99% of the time, any time you need to know which click it is, it's going to be 0. Very rarely will it need to be anything else. Equals 2. For the time being, we're going to cut off the timer just so I can run this without concern. Subscribe button, unsubscribe button. Okay, both of those are registered correctly. And no response there. Good. Exactly how we want it right now. So if somebody clicks the subscribe button, we can actually change that to if debug. So the first thing you're going to need is you're going to need to get the key of the person that made the contact. However, since it's processed as a string up there, we don't really need to cast it as a key, but string sub equals detected key 0. If debug, owner say, clicked by, key to name, key sub. Can actually get rid of that line too. Okay, that confirms not only that it was clicked, but by myself. So we're confirming that it is in fact picking up the detected key correctly. The next step is to see if the detected key is already in the list of subscribers. And since we have code pretty much that does that already, right down in here, this actually does it for the active list, but it's virtually the same. If list find list, this time we want to read in the subs list. We don't need any of this casting of it to who because of how we're doing this. Equals -1. Subs equals subs plus sub. Else instant message to sub. You are already subscribed to this mailing list. And I accidentally deleted the closing bracket there. That's what that was all about. So there it says that I'm already subscribed to that mailing list. And we're going to do similar down here. We can even just start with copy and pasting the code because we're just going to make a few changes to it. Unsubscribe button clicked by. Da, 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 da. And we're going to use this bit of code that was created for removing somebody from the active list. And instead of running the active code, when it's detected something is not in the list, we're going to, in this case, go run the instant message. Are not currently subscribed to this list. And then down in here, integer hit equals list, find list, subs, sub, subs hit. All right. I made a mistake there by not setting the list, basically creating a new list based on modifications to the old list. Yep, I am not currently subscribed to the list. Click it a second time, I am already subscribed. All right, that takes care of those. So now that I found out my problem was that I had been mistakenly not creating a new list there. I was really dropping the ball on you for you guys there. I need to not do that. Now the last thing that we can do is else if owner say. Actually, we're going to have to construct the entire list for this. Here's the thing we're going to do. I'm going to just borrow this code. First, you'll establish a list for keys. This is just going to be a holding group that we're going to populate here in a minute. Subs. Make sure to establish your integer I, so your for loop will run. Then keys equals list, choose string, subs, I, owner say, my apologies, string keys, so if I is less than that, the length of your subscription list. If the number you're up to I is still less than the length of your subscription list, then we're going to back this up. In this case, if you're clicking on any one of those, on any spot other than those two buttons, and you are the owner, it's going to give you the list of individuals that are subscribed but are not listed on your actual hard-coded list yet. How we're going to do that is okay. This took me just a couple minutes to double check a couple parts of to make sure that I can put this together for you. The command we're going to operate with is dump list to string. What this will do is just take everything in your list, convert it to one big string. But it has to have a special string separator. This would be whatever would break things up. However, in order for this to put out code you can use, you'd need to have a quotation mark. So I took a minute to look it up. And if you would have put a backslash in front of the quotation mark, you can actually get quotation marks as part of your code, which is actually pretty cool. So we're going to go in here. There we go. That should actually put out the code to create a list with your actual list. That you can then copy and paste right back into your script. Now, why do you need to worry about that? That's because of it. There is a concern for how much memory a script can hold. If you try to have too much in there, oh, whoops, minor flaw with that, and that is handled like so. There we go. For your separator, you actually need a slightly longer set of stuff than I'd originally wrote in there. You need the backslash quotation mark to get a quotation mark, a comma, and then another backslash quotation mark. But because you're creating it like a string, that whole mess has to be inside quotation marks. Quoteception. But you get that right there. Which would mean I'd be able to just copy, paste that in. As part of the regular maintenance of this server, you would come back periodically, click that, copy and paste that line, because it literally just created the line of code for you, put that right up top there, and bada boom, you've got your list up to date. Anybody that's removed themselves from it, it will have removed from it. Anybody who's added themselves to it, it will add themselves to it. So that is how you would go ahead, fix the problems I had with the original version, the 3 errors I made, and give yourself an easy way of updating it to keep current with any new subscribers. So that was the triumphal return of the Coder Kitty, bringing you. That was the triumphal return of the Coder Kitty, now without a mouse sitting on my glasses. Bringing you more Linden scripting language and even fixing my mistakes when I make them. So, hope you all stuck around for that. As usual, good day, good luck, happy scripting. Do check the description section for a link to a Discord server I've been putting together. If you have any questions, comments, requests for other videos, anything that you want to possibly have a more live and active community for, you can go there. Continuing to comment on the YouTube videos is, of course, greatly appreciated. It really does help me know that this is getting to people that want them and that they're useful to people. So, yeah, anything else you all want from me or ideas how I can make this work better for you, just let me know. Until then, good day to you. Videos should be up Tuesdays by noon.